Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of Longhorn Diaries. Today we're going to talk about something that's not talked about too often, and not many people know about, but that is the Dower Act. So, what is the Dower Act? It is something that I talk about with my clients all the time, especially when we're listing a property for sale. So, what is the Dower Act? The Dower Act is provincial legislation that prevents a married person from disposing of the homestead without the consent of the other spouse. So, it goes way back in time. It was actually legislation that was passed back in the 1917 time era, when all of a sudden that people had different rights who owned land. What is the purpose of the Dower Act? So today the Dower Act grants the lawful spouse of the registered owner to true fee entitlement. Okay? So number one is the life estate, which is the right to live on the property for the remainder of the spouse's life, and veto right, so to prevent the sale or any other disposition of the property. Those are the two key elements that Dower is super important. So, what causes Dower to be applicable? There are three conditions that trigger the need for Dower consent and acknowledgement. Okay? So those three triggers are the following. The seller is legally married, and only if one name is registered on title, and either the seller or his or her spouse has resided on the property at any time during the marriage. Okay? So, if those three triggers are applicable, then guess what? Dower rights apply. So, if I'm looking to sell a home for somebody who is a registered owner of the property, they are legally married, and they have resided on the property for at least one night, the Dower rights do apply. So what does that mean? That means that I have to get the spouse's signature on not only the listing contract, but the purchase contract and at the time of title transfer. So they sign those agreements, and they also have to go see a lawyer to make sure that their Dower rights are released for that particular transaction or document. So that means that's the listing, purchase, or the title transfer. So that's when Dower may be applicable. This is an in-depth subject, so if you have any questions, if Dower might be applicable for you and your family, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know. It's something that would need to be discussing when you go turn around and purchase a home, and or most of the time sell a home. Thank you everybody for tuning in to this edition of Longhorn Diaries. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And of course, if you would ever like something discussed on our episodes, feel free to reach out. Send us a Facebook message, send me an email, and we'd be happy to discuss the topic for you.